If you've played a game of Lorcana over the past few months, you've probably seen this nut-eating squirrel. It costs 2 ink to play, has ward, and forces the opponent to discard any time a Floodborn character hits the field. That means the opponent must discard a card when Diablo Devoted Herald is played. Whilst Exerted Diablo allows the player to draw a card every time the opponent does. Things can get out of hand, quite literally, very quickly. Diablo is also evasive, just to make things that little bit more interesting. Bucky's ward ability means that it cannot be chosen as a target of abilities, and it can only be taken out by challenge. With only 1 strength and 1 willpower, a simple Olaf, for example, could easily take it out. But if your opponent doesn't exert their characters, how are you actually meant to deal with them? Here are 5 cards that will help you get rid of Bucky. Number 1. Grab Your Swords. A staple of most steel decks, Grab Your Swords does 5 damage to all opposing characters. This includes those with ward and evasive. A well-timed Grab Your Swords can get rid of Bucky and Diablo on turn 1, even if Bucky is at the Hidden Cove location, which increases his willpower to 2. As a song, Grab Your Swords can be sung for free by characters with a 5 ink or higher cost. Therein lies the problem, however. Bucky only costs 2 ink to play, and should your opponent make use of its discard ability or play a card like Ursula Deceiver, they could very easily get rid of your Grab Your Swords before you can even use it. Number 2. Lady Tremaine Imperious Queen. Emerald players don't tend to like this card very much. Lady Tremaine forces the opponent to banish one of their own characters. You can shift into this character for only 4 ink from Lady Tremaine Overbearing Matriarch. This combination would make your opponent lose 1 lore, provided they are ahead before you play this card, and also force them to banish one of their own characters. With 3 strength and 4 willpower, this card is more than capable of taking Bucky out in a challenge if the opportunity allows. There are a few drawbacks to this option. This card will only force the opponent to banish 1 character, meaning that it's totally up to the opponent to which character they banish. If they have more than 1 on the field, chances are they may not select Bucky if they don't need to. Number 3. Falling Down the Rabbit Hole. This is a Sapphire action card that forces the opponent to choose one of their characters and put them into their inkwell face down and exerted. It costs 4 ink to play, and as an action card, cannot be targeted by Ursula Deceiver on turn 2. Whilst giving Sapphire a helpful removal tool, this one also has a few drawbacks. Firstly, like all cards on the list so far, it is uninkable. Next, you are helping the opponent increase their inkwell. Not to mention again, it's the opponent's choice as to which card they banish. So if Bucky is not the only character they have in play, they may choose not to banish it. Number 4. Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, another steel card. Inkable with a 6 ink cost. This card deals 1 damage to each opposing character. You could potentially get rid of more than 1 Bucky here with a single Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. You can also shift another Tinkerbell into this card for only 4 ink, allowing you to get rid of Bucky quickly. With 4 strength and 5 willpower, this is a very versatile character and can also quest for 2 lore. As a high cost character, you may find yourself a few cards down from Bucky's discard effect before you can play Giant Fairy. Finally, card number 5. Be Prepared, the ultimate board reset. For the cost of 7 ink, you can banish all characters on the field. This does not target, which is why ward can't stop it. This card can also be sung for free by characters with a cost of 7 ink or higher. Regardless of how many Buckies, Diablos, or other characters your opponent has on the board, you can get rid of absolutely all of them with just this card. As powerful as it can be though, it's not without its drawback. First of all, having 7 ink in your inkwell is a long time to wait if Bucky hits the field on turn 2. This card is uninkable, which means it is pretty useless if drawn in the opening hand. It can also be targeted with Ursula Deceiver on turn 2. Not to mention that this banishes every character on the board, including your own. These are just some of the cards you can use in your quest to defeat the Green Squirrel. Here are a few more honourable mentions. Let me know which cards from this list you use in your deck, and if there's any content you'd like to see, let me know in the comments.